I've mentioned so many times about the time was to come, according to Lenin, where so many governmental agencies that would start off as services in the West would eventually get built up to semi-official status and then purely official status, and they would be authorities. That was part of the health service, because pharmacology and science is a prime tenet really of Marxist thought, that all science should rule supreme over the lives of people, and the academics should really run our lives for us. And we'll see that happening today. Children's Aid really started off as a kind of, again, non-profit charitable organization that had some credence from government given to it. Now it's an authority. We've had instances in the States where they've gone into places with SWAT teams. So much for a nice charitable organization that provides a service. If you want it, now you've got to take it whether you like it or not. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I also said, too, in this new eugenical society, you'll be tested for your IQ and all the rest of it, and your physical history to see if you're fit to have children. That's already happening, if you don't know it. It's already happening. That's why they've been taking your DNA for 30-odd years in every country across the planet, every so-called first world country, and checking back on your family histories for mental aberrations and physical hereditary diseases. They don't want you to be, you're not good breeding stock, you see. You could be a burden on this wonderful socialist society, and they don't want that. They want more money left over for wars and plunder and robbing stuff out of other people's ground across the water somewhere. Here's an article here to prove this point. It's from Mail Online. You know, the problem too is that when it doesn't happen to you directly, you don't think much of it. It's like an aberration, a weird one-off type thing. You don't realize this is happening every day. And you don't realize too that eventually the gun sights will point to you. You'll be in the gun sights of Big Brother on something or other, one of the many things they can get you on. And again, Britain being the flagship of all of this for the whole world, as far as the social agencies goes and authorities go, it always breaks out there first. This is from the Mail Online, and it's from January the 25th. It says, mother not clever enough to raise child has baby snatched by social workers after running away to Ireland to give birth. This is the 21st century, and now young couples have to flee. They have to flee their homeland to try and get sanctuary somewhere, because government agencies, these wonderful charitable organizations that are backed by SWAT teams, are chasing them because they say you're not bright enough. Well, who defines what's bright enough? 22nd of January. A couple who fled to Ireland after social workers threatened to remove their baby at birth have had the newborn snatched after all. Kerry Robertson, 17, who has mild learning difficulties. I wonder how many would fit into that already. And Mark McDougall, 25, went on the run after British social services said she was not clever enough to raise a child. But just 4 days after Ben was born, Irish social workers marched into the maternity ward and forced him to hand him over. They were told they were acting at the behest of their British counterparts because under the EU, this wonderful Soviet bloc, all information is shared. And that's how they were caught, through information sharing through the medical authorities. The couple from Fife, Scotland, had been on the run for 3 months. In September, their wedding was halted just 48 hours before the service when social workers claimed Miss Robertson was not bright enough to understand the marriage declaration. Can you believe this? Then in November, they were told that her disability meant their baby would be taken away at birth. With Miss Robertson 29 weeks pregnant, they fled their house in the middle of the night and travelled to Ireland. The child, Ben, was born healthy and weighing 7 pounds 3 ounces last Friday. Last night, Miss Robertson said, when the Irish social workers said I had to give the baby to them, I felt sick. I don't want to hand him over, and I started crying because I couldn't believe what they were saying. I thought I'd misunderstood. She sounds very, very retarded, doesn't she, to you? Doesn't she? I had just been breastfeeding him, she said. Just before they took him away, I told Ben I loved him and gave him a kiss. Mr. McDougall added, Kerry let out a dreadful cry when she realized what was happening. It was terrible. She's just in pieces. We believed that the Irish had more traditional values than social workers in the UK. We found a 2-bedroom cottage in a beautiful village in Waterford overlooking the sea. Kerry booked herself in with a local general practitioner, and at last we began to feel as if we were safe. An anonymous benefactor has been funding the couple after they left home with just £200, and he's even paid for the house. Artist Mr. McDougall has also been selling pictures while friends and family have donated clothes, baby gear and further money. Miss Robertson had been cared for by her grandmother since the age of 9 months after her own parents were unable to look after her, with her care overseen by Fife Council. She began getting contractions last Friday, and the couple went to the local hospital where she gave birth after natural labour. Both of us were overjoyed, said Mr. McDougall. Ben was absolutely perfect. But on Tuesday morning, 2 Irish social workers, a man and a woman, came to the hospital and delivered the bombshell. Mr. McDougall added, it seems that though Kerry's medical records, although we've been on the run, she has always ensured that she had all the checks and scans on the baby. Fife Council had been alerted. So if you get a medical checkup somewhere, I told folk this years ago too, they'll find you. Everything's being used. There's nothing private anymore. The social workers said that now Ben was born. Fife, this is the council area, the Shire in Scotland, had put him on the high at risk register, and he was subject to a care order, etc., etc. She's also breastfeeding the child, which obviously is very retarded these days, where everybody prefers the scientific poison that you're supposed to feed them at birth. But this is where we're going today. And this is happening all over. And what eventually will be the IQ level where they'll allow you to have a child? What level will it be? Huh? You better think about all of this. You better think about all of this. As I said before, you can't fix a broken Tower of Babel. It's all held together with paste and glue and Band-Aid with rotten foundations. You can't fix something like this. It has to crumble. Totally. It's quite something, the world we live in. Quite something. But it makes you wonder if people will ever learn. You know, eugenics is a big part of this whole agenda. And it won't go away. It hasn't gone away. We're in big trouble. I've read articles before where the big foundations, especially the ones to do with the Rockefellers who started off and put the money up for the eugenics experiments in the United States of America, where they had forced abortion, forced sterilization on those they declared were medically unfit. They also had it down that chronic unemployment was also a sign of retardation, and therefore you'd be sterilized. No court order, nothing, just in front of some kind of judge, no jury, nothing, and bang, in you go, and they snip away, and that's you for life, no apologies. And state after state used this, and it's just an absolute mess, because it lasted for up until the 1970s. Now they want to bring it all. Actually, when you think about it, they have brought it all back. But they did it in the scientific way. They convinced the public to get it themselves. That's how they did it. They convinced the public to get it done themselves. Don't you want a vasectomy? Don't you want a tubal ligation? We'll do it for you. It's on the National Health Service. Back with more after this break. Just don't want an appendicitis, that's all.